She's very meticulous, and it's showing. Hey guys, welcome if you're new here, welcome back to my channel if you've seen my face before. My name is Emily and I make fangirl-centric content, which basically means I make reaction videos, theory videos like these, and I also do concert vlogs. So if that's your forte, make sure you subscribe because this year is going to be insane for the content so far. And today, speaking of theories, I'll be breaking down a new theory Twitter and me and a whole bunch of people in the Swiftyverse have realized with the new cover of the Tortured Poets Department and the new song that has been announced. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So obviously we all know Taylor Swift is coming out with her 11th studio album on April 19th called The Tortured Poets Department, and she's released a new variant of the album. She announced in Melbourne on night 1, I believe, that there would be a new song on this variant called The Bolter. So we'll get into that song first before we get into another theory that I've thought about, I found, and all that jazz. And just to let you know, all the sources I did use are down below if you do want to read up more about them. Anyways, The Bolter was a book written by Frances Osborne, and the synopsis reads that in an age of bolters, women who broke the rules and fled their marriages, Idina Sackville was the most celebrated of them all. Her relentless affairs, wild sex parties, and brazen flaunting of convention shocked high society and inspired countless writers and artists. But Idina's compelling charm masked the pain and betrayal and heartbreak. So, with that synopsis alone, we can obviously infer that this song will possibly talk about Taylor in this instance breaking apart from a past relationship. Dare I say, bolting from one. Taylor has obviously had a very publicly speculated about life, if that makes any sense whatsoever. So there's obviously going to be some connections between Idina's life and Taylor's life, because Idina also lived a very speculated, scandalized life herself. She was a high society aristocrat in the 20s, and Taylor is obviously a very notable, celebrated artist who has been speculated and has had scandals about literally any one of her relationships. We can even reference Blank Space at this point. I've got a long list of ex-lovers, they'll tell you I'm insane. We've got Slut, her song, and the Wall Street Journal even says about Idina was married 5 times and bolted from all 5 marriages, bringing her a lifetime of notoriety and a reputation for heartlessness, which Taylor has also been deemed to do in her past when dating in her 20s and now 30s. It's just such an old societal expectation that you've got to lock her down, and The Bolter could be talking about that exact instance, about the scandal that comes with breaking up, but we can infer that the song is probably going to be referring to the time of her and her breakup and after the fact. Also, people have been speculating that it could be about a person literally bolting rather than a literary reference and real life reference, and could just literally be talking about a partner bolting for the hills. In this case, could be Taylor, could be the other half of said relationship. In addition, I found on Twitter from the user Ellie Elizabeth, they found a connection between the collector's edition of this new album and In Folklore, and to preface, not like the album Folklore, like literal folklore. So this Twitter user said, in Folklore, farmers would burn the stubble of their crops in the fields to regenerate the earth into spring, and hares would often be seen to run into the flames. Yet not to be burned, but to be reborn. Hares are a symbol of rebirth. This album is Taylor running headfirst into the flames that burnt down her relationship, tackling them head on and walking away, being reborn. Also, we have to remember that Taylor burnt down the Lover House, which symbolized the first 10 albums of her career. So could this song be about her own rebirth, whether that be in her career, in her life, in her relationships? That's also a notable thing to reference. we're gonna get into the actual speculation of the album concept as a new kind of view has come about on Twitter, and I've been pondering about it for the past few days. If we look back on the first edition of the album that was released at the Grammys after the announcement, it was all black, white, and gray, which you're probably wondering why I'm talking about the actual album and the color scheme itself. It's because this new album, or I should say new edition of the album, is a darker beigey brown type thing, and somebody on Twitter by the name of Everlorte13 pointed out that these covers could be referencing the 5 stages of grief in like a color scheme type of way. And the only thing I have an issue with here is that when I was trying to research the actual universally referenced colors for the 5 stages of grief, it did not match up at all, and I tried to search up where this Twitter user got this reference image from, and I'm pretty sure that they made those images themselves, but like I said, take it with a grain of salt. I'm not entirely sure, but I just thought I'd pop in here saying so. And it also didn't show up, it just showed up a bunch of tweets from Twitter reposting this same image. So we'll have to take it with a grain of salt, but it's still worth pointing out because a lot of her songwriting has to do with many different emotions. So even if this color theory isn't viable, it's still a good thing to point out, especially with all of the different type of track names. They give off very different vibes, but they all kind of lead toward possibly talking about a breakup and moving forward with that. So it is a pretty cool thing to still reference. And with that being said, there are new lyrics that we got officially, I guess, confirmed on the back of the vinyl like we did with the first edition. This time the lyrics read, "You don't get to tell me about sad." And this whole thing reminded me of like a slew of Taylor songs that she has in her discography talking about sadness, blue, like the color blue, and referring to sadness and whatnot. But the songs that specifically jumped out at me were Hoax and You're Losing Me, which by the way, she announced right after announcing this version of the album. So this is why I'm running with this one especially. In Hoax, she specifically talks about struggles that she faces in a toxic relationship, and she states, "Don't want no other shade of blue but you, no other sadness in the world would do." Blue is obviously like a huge motif concept. I don't know what word to use here, but you know what I mean. It is a huge concept for the whole scheme of like sadness and whatnot, and she uses that a lot in her most recent entries of her discography from like Lover and onward, even Reputation, of talking about her other half, her partner, as blue, which I just thought to point out because that's, I don't know, that's a little not sus, but you know, if you're gonna say you don't get to tell me about sad and have blue be like a huge concept of how you describe your past partner, that's a little telling, a little bit telling, but then again, this is all speculation. Another little reference that I found in You're Losing Me, which obviously she performed after announcing this bit of, or this new edition of the album, was How Long Can We Be a Sad Song? Need I say more with that one? And obviously that song is notoriously speculated upon her breakup with her most recent relationship. I'm not gonna go into it. With that whole How Long Can We Be a Sad Song, Taylor has referenced in the past, but in more recent interviews, like within the past 4 years, that her and her past partner loved writing breakup and sad songs.
Well, Joe and I really love sad songs. We've always bonded over music, so it was...
Clearly, you've written some of the saddest songs of your career together.
What's going on? Songs. We just really love sad songs. What can I say?
Which, with this whole new lyric of you can't tell me about sad, or you don't get to tell me about sad, that's just such an insane reference, in my opinion. Like, she's very meticulous, and it's showing. I mean, unless that wasn't actually on purpose, and I'm just thinking too far into it. Who knows? And we've known this for years, but just another thing that I thought I would point out. But yeah, this is gonna be a pretty short video. It's not gonna be like my last two videos that were like 26 minutes long, something like that. But I just thought I would put this out there on the YouTubes because you guys like when I talk about theories and I like talking to you about theories. So with that being said, in the comment section below, let me know what you think this album could actually be about, knowing some of the information that we know now. That's obviously not confirmed or anything, but with that being said, I will see you in the next video. Like, subscribe, do all that jazz, and just so you know, I'm having an album release party on April 18th into the 19th, and I'm vlogging all of that, so you should totally subscribe to see that. Because yeah, anyways, I will see you in the next video, and if Taylor Swift does any more Taylor Swift things, just come back here because you know I'm going to talk about it. Anyways, bye guys.